Hi everyone, Joe Gentili. It's Araf Gentili, LLP. Today's video, I want to talk about if you have a USCIS denial, should you file an appeal with the AAO, or should you just skip that and go straight to federal court and sue the government to try to get the decision reversed? At first blush, AAO appeals could look pretty tempting. The reason for that is because, number one, they're pretty much suggested by USCIS when they issue a denial. They say there's this option to file this. They're relatively inexpensive to file, and if you lose the AAO appeal, you could still go to federal court. So given that, I feel in most instances it makes sense to skip the AAO and go straight to federal court, even given all that. And the reason for that is because, number one, I was just looking at a recent study that confirmed what most immigration lawyers already know, which is AAO appeals are rarely successful. The study I saw said that if they looked at three large categories of immigration decisions. I think they looked at H-1B denials, they looked at TPS denials, and they looked at situations where people were applying for a green card based off of employment. And for those three big categories of cases, about 8% of AAO appeals were successful, which means that 92% weren't. And I've also seen other categories where the reversal rate is about 3%. So the odds of winning an AAO appeal are pretty low. That, combined with what I'm about to say, is why they're generally not worthwhile. So when you go to federal court and you fight an appeal, you fight a denial, the judge considers the case based off what's called the administrative record. So the judge only considers what's already been said in the case or written in the case. The judge can't consider new evidence from you, or it can't consider new evidence from the government. So when the government issues an initial denial, a lot of times there's mistakes in that denial, if it's a bad denial. And you want to sue the government and lock them in on the mistakes they made in that initial denial, if they made serious mistakes. So what happens is, if you file an appeal, is you're giving the government a chance to correct those mistakes and make a more fulsome denial, which is what they do in the majority of times. So now if you have to go to federal court, your task is much more difficult because the government has had the opportunity to fix the mistakes that they made early on. So you don't want to fight the government and fight the denial after the government's had an opportunity to clean everything up and put their best foot forward. You want to fight them when you have the best chance to win. And when you have the best chance to win is when they made those initial sloppy mistakes and you don't give them a chance to correct them. So this is not always the case. It's not always 100% that you want to go straight to federal court and skip the AAO. But I think that that is the correct move to make the majority of the time, and it should be the rule of thumb, basically, with exceptions, but it's a rule of thumb. You're better off skipping the AAO if they made serious errors in their denial and just go straight to federal court. Your odds of success are going to be much higher doing that. As always, I encourage you to subscribe if you like the content in these videos. And if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out and contact me. Thanks. Have a great day.